What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. So, as you man saw at the weekend, Caleb, trailer trash plant, got his wig pushed right the way back for him. Yeah, what we do know is your man's Mr. Plant Pot lost all of that trailer trash energy. To be fair to him now, I'll give him credit, he did get up, but in my opinion, the ref saved him. He should have gone cold out, yeah? Bottom line, the ref jumped in, saved him, robbed the fans from a clean KO. But again, fair play to Caleb, because to be fair, even when the refs jumped in and saved him, he was actually trying to get up. He wasn't pulling a Malik Scott, laying on the floor, goofy looking at us. So I give Sweet Pea, sweet hands. Yeah, soft hands. Listen, never mind sweet hands. You got soft hands, yeah? Your hands are soft, Alvarez. Yeah, 100%. You got soft female hands compared to Alvarez. That's a fact. Call me a liar. Yeah, Alvarez, he treated like a female in there. 100%. Caleb Plant Pot is Canelo Alvarez's prison wife. 100% confirmed. Yeah, he does the washing, he does the ironing, he massages his feet after a long down the yard. You best believe your man's Alvarez comes back to the cell and he gets a nice foot massage from his soft hands. Yeah, Caleb, soft hands, Plant Pot, no doubt. But anyway, now I'll give you a quick summary of the events from the weekend. Let's go on to the point of this video. The point of this video is Caleb soft hands Plant Pot has now broken his silence and spoken out on the loss for the first time since he got his wig pushed back for him. He said the following: "I've bent most of the world to my will and done it with nothing but passion and skill. I'll be back. I showed I belong on the top level and I'll be champion of the world again. I've never been scared to go big or go out on my shield. Thank you to all the fans and my supporters." Boom. So there you go then. A short statement, I can't lie to you. I mean, I will give Mr. Softhand some credit because it was quite encouraging and, what's the word I'm looking for? It was inspiring, rather, to see what he said after the post-fight. I know he didn't do the post-fight interview, which I think was a shame. I think that fighters, win, lose or draw, should always do either a press conference at the end or a post-fight interview. Why? Because guess what? Before the fight, you was talking. Yeah? No doubt. Before the fight, you stay talking. During the fight, you stay talking. After the fight, you quiet. You missing. I think that's unfair, especially for fans who have showed up, supported you, put their coins in, backed you, and whatever else. The least you can do is make a statement. It doesn't have to be long, but I think you should come on and answer a few questions in the post-fight press conference. But anyway, he didn't do the ring interview. He didn't do the post-fight press conference, which, like I said, for me, is a bit of a letdown. But to his credit, unlike Deontay Wilder, in the kind of ring area after the fight, he was very passionate and very, like I said, inspiring to see him go over to Alvarez and really kind of let his heart out, which was really sweet to see. And in fact, Alvarez ended up having to check one of the goofy translators. And you know what? That's a point. I've got to say this. Spanish translators for Alvarez suck. And I've heard that from a few people now. In fact, most people in the comments always say, all my Spanish dons out there, all my Mexican dons out there, they always say that these translators suck. They never actually say what Reynoso or Alvarez are actually saying. And it's got so bad that Alvarez himself ended up having to check the translator, because in the ring, during the post-fight interview, obviously we all saw that Sweet Hands and Alvarez spent about 2 minutes on some quite deep thing. So obviously the interviewer says to Alvarez, what was Sweet Hands saying to you? Alvarez speaks in Spanish, and I think, to be honest, Alvarez's English now is better. He's clearly proven his English is better than them goofy translators anyway. I think he should just say things himself twice. Yeah? Say it in Spanish first, and then say it quickly. Sum it up in English afterwards. Why not? Because these goofies ain't got a clue what they're doing. Anyway, like I said, Alvarez ends up saying, yep, Plant came over. He said that he wanted to carry on fighting, as in he wanted to carry on getting up after being knocked down. He respects me and whatever else. Anyway, that's what Alvarez said. 2-2s. The translator then ends up repeating it in English, and he says that, Plant wanted to carry on fighting me. As if implying as if Plant was trying to fight him in the interview kind of thing, or after the fight. got the translation completely wrong. And at that point, when the goofy translator says, "Oh, Plant wanted to carry on fighting him," after the fight, Alvarez ends up checking the guy, which just goes to show that, because obviously Alvarez didn't want to come across like he was slagging off Plant, because he wasn't. This goofy, weird and the crazy thing is, the translator had a real big smirk on his face. Like, bro, that's your one job. You had one job, yeah? These two, Alvarez just had 12 rounds or 11 rounds. Sweet Hands just got murked. Or you have one job. Them men have been punched in the head. You had one job. You can't do one job, and you're smiling about it. I'd be embarrassed, seriously. Imagine being on that stage, yeah, having one job. And I'm not being funny. It's not rocket science. He ain't trying to solve some massive, deep equation. He got one job. Translating one language into another. It ain't that hard, especially when that's your profession. That's what you do all day. Wow. All you have to do all day is get your two languages correct. And you get, literally, and the thing is, there's only really two ways you can interpret language, good or bad. Yeah? He interpreted it the wrong way. You had two options, and you went with the wrong one. It's almost as if, and the way he was smirking with himself, like he was happy with himself, it was almost as if he was kind of like happy for trying to stir the beef or something. You big goofy. Yeah? They all need to be sacked, truth be known. But anyway, let's move on now, because I want to discuss at a bit more detail what Sweet Hands said. And again, I do feel a bit, yes, he was kind of, it was nice to see at the end, but he hasn't really, he spends quite a lot of time talking about himself, yeah? Before the fight, he was saying, "Oh, I'm from the hood, and everyone else who isn't like me, I'm a winner, and I do this, and you lot are all fans, you lot are all on the couch, and I live it for real." Listen, how did living it for real work out for you? Oops, yeah? Because you listen, you may as well have been on the couch. Listen, Alvarez put you on the couch. Yeah? In fact, Alvarez himself was on the couch, and you was massaging his feet. Yeah? About, I've bent most of the world. Listen, what we know is, you didn't bent the best of the world. You bent all the bums in the world. That's true. Listen, that's the facts. And I can't lie to you. I've been saying for a long time, boxing is down bad. Boxing should be happening like this. Yeah? Plant Pot should have fought Billy Joe Saunders. Do you understand? These guys need to be fighting each other before they fight Alvarez. Why is Alvarez the one fighting 3 times a year? 4 times a year? That's what them guys are meant to be doing, yeah? Plant Pot's supposed to be in the mix with Billy Joe and Callum Smith. Them men are meant to be the ones fighting 3 times a year. And Alvarez is supposed to pick the best of the bunch, i.e. the winner of Smith, Billy Joe and Plant Pot. That's who he's supposed to fight. Instead, he ended up doing all the hard work. And it's not even about the hard work, it's about the skill level. Because every soul, every infinity gem that Alvarez takes, because you best believe, when Alvarez beats one of these guys, it's the Native American equivalent of taking a scalp off their head. You understand? Alvarez has made a nice woven jacket, a nice woven winter jacket out of wigs. You best believe that. Billy Ho Saunders' wig, Callum Smith's wig, Sweet Hands wig, Soft Hands wig. Yeah, he's got all the wigs and sewn them up nicely, and made a nice little hat off it. 100%. He got the nicest human mink hat, because he got all their wigs. 100%. Now, the reason I bring that up is to say that that's how you get power. When you take someone's wig right off their head for them, when you scalp them, and you make clothes out of their wigs, that's power. You learn. You fight the best. You learn. These guys, Sweet Hands, Soft Hands, yeah, Soft Hands, your hands are soft, because guess what? You've been in there with bums. If you'd have been in there with, I'm not saying Billy Ho and Callum Smith or all that, but it's the principle, isn't it? If you'd have been in there, let's say Sweet Hands, Soft Hands had beat Billy Joe and Callum Smith. I don't care what no one says. You're only going to be a better fighter from that. Are you not? These mans, they fight all bums, and then they go from bums to potentially one of the best fighters ever. That's why your hands are soft. That's why you're Alvarez's prison wife. Because, you didn't have that, what's that word? You didn't have that Super Bowl level skill. And that's what you need to beat an Alvarez. You need Super Bowl level skill. And that's why I write Andre Ward for this fight. Andre Ward versus Alvarez. Why? Because Andre Ward has proven he can come back from losing to Kovalev, to schooling Kovalev for the stoppage. Yeah, that's the kind of finesse you need to be able to stop. Because at the time, people, Kovalev was pound for pound. At that time, at that particular point, at 2017, I think it was, Kovalev was top 2, top 3 pound for pound. And Ward went in there and schooled the dude for him. At a heavier weight. He went up in weight to that weight and schooled the dude for him. Filled him right in for him. That there, you know what I'm saying? It's not only being able to perform at the top level, but actually raise your level at the top level. That's where greatness is. And so far, these guys, never mind raising their level at the top level, you ain't even fighting top level dudes. So Caleb, sweet hands, soft hands, wouldn't even know what raising his level is, because he ain't never been in no decent fight. When you've been in there with top dudes again and again and again, you've got a better idea of what's required. And that's why I think a lot of these guys are delusional, like sweet hands, like soft hands. Soft hands be talking, oh yeah, I'm the best, I've never lost and I've always found a way to win. Yeah, but you didn't know what you didn't know. You didn't know they was all bums. I mean, you was going 50-50 with Caleb Truax. Fair play to him. He's been world champion, but he's the most basic dude. And you went life and death with him. What do you man think Alvarez would do with Caleb Truax? That would be a 3-4 round fight. Because he's got no elite skills. You took all night. You went 50-50 with the dude. Yeah? About, I've been best, I've bent most of the world to my will. You ain't bent most of the world to your will. You've bent a bunch of bums to most of your will. And this statement you put out, I'm not trying to knock a man when he's down, but you should have really give more props to Alvarez. I'm not saying that I want someone to suck someone off, but come on, man. Be honest. Say, listen, if it was me, I'd say, listen, I talked a big game, and the bottom line is I got turned out. Bottom line is, I'm in prison, and I'm holding Alvarez's pocket right now. That's it. Yeah? All this talk about, it's almost like you're still trying to carry on like you're a bad mind. Yeah? You're still trying to carry on like you're the guy you was before the fight. You went. Yeah, before the fight, you was punking all the fans saying, oh, you man are on the couch and I'll do this for real and you lot don't take no risks. And, well, like I said, how did that work out for you? Because for all that risk you be taking, you got turned out. Yeah? And to be honest, I'm surprised. Quite a lot of dons were gassed, telling, and I can't lie to you, I've watched it back a few times, but I'm surprised how gassed people were. Cale Frampton was saying that, oh, it was 50-50 going into the 11th round. Genuinely, I didn't give no rounds to Plant Pot. Maybe the first or second. Because it wasn't, for me, I don't count nicking rounds. I count, for me, to win a round, you must have got me thinking, from that round, this guy can win that fight. Does that make sense? So for example, let's say in the first round, did I see anything in the first round that made me say, Plant can win this fight? Or Plant has a chance in winning this fight. That's what wins a round for me. Not tippy-tappy-tappy. If you do something in one round here, let's say in round 1, Plant had done something which made me think, you know what, this guy can win this fight. That's when you get a round. I'm telling you now, for 11 rounds, not one round did I see and think, yeah, Plant can win this fight. For example, conversely, yeah, in AJ versus Usyk, I'd say round 6 and round 7 were rounds where I said he can win this fight. That's why AJ got 2 or 3 rounds, if that makes sense. Because there were several rounds out of the 11, or out of the 12, sorry, where you could say AJ can win this fight. Plant didn't have none of them rounds. Not one round in that 11 round fight can you say, yeah, that round, if he does more of this, he can win the fight. It was all Alvarez's fight to lose, if that makes sense. Alvarez would have had to have purposely thrown the fight to lose that fight. Never once did Alvarez look troubled. I mean, people was gassing it up. Cale Frampton and people were saying, oh, yeah, the shoulder roll style and the Mayweather style was tricking him, and for a long time he couldn't work it out. Oh, he was struggling. He couldn't work it out until the 11th round. What? Seriously, what fight was you man watching? And the thing is, it's not even just Cale Frampton. Quite a few people, I think David Hayes said as well, quite a few people were saying that, I think, in fact, on the BT stream, at the 11th round, they had it 6-5, Alvarez. They had it pretty much a draw on their unofficial cards. Now, to be fair, the Showtime scores were like, the Showtime score was like 10-1. But the BT guys was gassed off sweet hands, off soft hands. Super soft hands. His hands are soft, man. Trust me. You best believe his hands are super soft. All the way soft, yeah? And you best believe as well. I spoke to Alvarez. Alvarez said, listen, YB, I love The reason I've decided to make our relationship official, the reason I've decided to make Plant Pot my prison wife, and not just a short term thing. The reason I've wifed him is because the factor that made the difference, the factor that made me want to make it official and tie the knot in prison with Plant Pot, was the fact his hands are soft. Yeah, super soft. He loves them soft hands. I mean, you got to remember as well, in jail, a lot of dudes don't take care of themselves. Their hands get dry, and we don't like no dry hands. I really like them soft hands, nice and soft and supple. Why? Because obviously in jail, things are restricted, but soft hands, it's almost like a home comfort. Yeah, it reminds you of a woman. It's the next best thing, and you best believe after Saturday night, Plant is what the next best thing to a woman for Alvarez, 100%. Because he treated him like a woman in there, 100%. Caressed him all over, Me Too'd him. Yeah. But anyway, I was saying, these guys gassed about what he was doing. Oh, he was a close. Oh, he was struggling to work him out. I kid you not. David Haye and Carl Frampton and a bunch of other so-called boxing experts said that Alvarez was struggling to figure him out. Now, people can say I'm biased, but listen, the facts are, if he was struggling, I'll tell you he's struggling. For example, the Floyd Mayweather fight. That's clearly a fight he was struggling. Bottom line, he did have no answers. Yeah, he wasn't just coming forward. He looked bamboozled in there. That's a fact. This fight, never once, not one round, like I said, did I sit there and think, wait a minute, if Plant does more of that, we're in trouble. He didn't. The whole way through, Alvarez was in 10 out of 10 control. These guys give him rounds for petty rubbish. I'm sorry, I don't give no rounds for that. You have to be doing stuff super effective for me to give rounds. Otherwise, what are we doing? Yeah? If you can fiddle your way through a fight, then what even is the sport? You have to be doing stuff that is clear to everyone. That's how you win a round. It's clear. He won that round 100%. Bottom line. So yeah, Sweet Pea, sweet hands. You soft, yeah? Your hand. Listen, let me tell you something right now. Your hands are soft, and that's fine. It's fine to have soft, supple hands. It's nice to have female hands, and like I said before, it's great because your hubby, your husband, Alvarez, he liked them soft hands, so it's good for you. It's good for all parties involved. Yeah. He says, I showed I belong on the top level. Now, again, I'm not trying to knock a man when he's down, but what do you mean you showed you belong on top level? You showed, in an 11-round fight, you did nothing that was super effective. In my book, you didn't win one round outside of the first round. But again, even in the first round, which I would give to him, but guess what? The only reason you can give the first round to Plant is because Alvarez threw, I think, one shot. Do you understand? And what's important in that statement I've just made about the first round is the fact that if you look at every round, if you give Plant any rounds, the only reason you give it is because Alvarez didn't do much. Does that make sense? So, for example, the first round, the only reason we're mentioning Plant for the first round is because of what Alvarez wasn't doing. Does that make sense? There's a difference between Plant won this round because he did A, B, C, D. That's not the same as Plant won this round because Alvarez didn't do nothing. So every time Plant won a round was because Alvarez wasn't doing anything. It wasn't because he snatched the round and took the round. And that's why Plant, in my book, really won no rounds. Even the first round, I didn't give it to him because he didn't take it. Yeah, think about it. If a man doesn't throw any shots, Alvarez threw one shot the whole round. And the fact that Plant didn't... Think about it. If a man doesn't throw a shot for 3 minutes, you should have been all over him, no? You should have been dominating that round on principle. The man threw no shots and Plant just kind of went through the motions. Now, I understand that boxing is IQ and it takes intelligence and it's not as easy as just sticking on him, but listen, this is a top game at the end of the day. This is a top game. Yeah? And it's not good enough for a man not to be throwing punches and you're just going through the motions and fighting at his pace. You know that Alvarez likes to fight at a certain pace. And that's what makes me laugh about these conditioning guys. Plant was doing all this fruity conditioning and he was the one who ended up on the floor. Yeah? By the way, people, if you haven't got no power and you want to beat Alvarez, you must bring the Joe Calzaghe. If you ain't bringing the Joe Calzaghe, Plant, don't have no snap. He needed to go in there on some Joe Calzaghe thing. Pure volume, pure speed. You can't have none. You can't have no speed. Sorry, you can't have no volume and no power. Because that's what you call good for nothing. That's what you call soft hands. If you ain't got no volume, like Kawasaki didn't have no power, but guess what? He had volume and he had speed. He would volume and speed the life out of people. These guys today, though, they haven't got the Mayweather IQ. Mayweather was really one of the only fighters able not to have no power and not to have no volume. But he had super levels of IQ. These fighters today, like Adrian Broner and Sweet Hands, Soft Hands, these guys don't have no power, don't have no IQ, and don't have no volume. So they end up just standing there, thinking they're Mayweather, but it's not winning a fight. And that's why Plant Pot's delusional, saying, "Oh, I showed I belong at this level." You showed that you haven't fought no one in your career, and the first time you stepped up, you got turned out. You got turned into a prison wife. Plant, that's what you've proved, by the way. Because I'll tell you this for free. Not because you were a hater. No, honestly. If you had proved you belong at that level, I'd tell you. For example, Deontay Wilder. He proved he's a warrior. And I'll even give you that credit. I'll say, yeah, the ref stepped in and saved you too early, but still, you were trying to get up. So I'll give you that. Yes, has Caleb Plant proved he's a warrior? Absolutely. But I'll tell you what he hasn't proved. He has not proved he belongs at the top level. Because for me, the top level is Alvarez. Yeah? Getting knocked out by Alvarez, I'm sorry, I don't prove much. That proves that, who can't get knocked out by... I could get knocked out by Alvarez. You understand? How does getting knocked out in a fight where you said that... In fact, never mind what you said. It was obvious to everyone that you was bigger man in there. You was bigger, and you said yourself, I'm bigger. Alvarez is a 154 pounder. So, wait a minute. You admitted yourself you're fighting a smaller man, and you end up getting swatted. You were the one saying, I've got power too, and I've got this, I've got that. So before the fight, you was talking all this good stuff. You ended up not achieving and not completing what you set out to do. But then you want to kind of circle back and talk about how you've proved you belong at that level. No, you've proved you've got heart, but you have not proved you belong at that level. Will you do that in the future? We don't know. But what you must do is you must beat people like, the top ones. You must actually beat them to do that. You can't, unless you, don't get me wrong, let's say you went in there, yeah, and you put on us, and you was winning the fight to 11 rounds and got stopped. Then, I'd get that then. I'd say, you know what, yeah, he got stopped. Yes, it's difficult to say a man's top level when he just got stopped, but yeah, he won 11 rounds and got caught on a lucky shot. That'd be fair enough, and I'd agree with him. I'm not someone who's a hater. Like I just said, I'll give him credit for having heart, but what we're not going to do is try and change the reality. And the reality is, you ain't proven you're top level. And to be honest, I didn't see no skills that really certified your top level. Your skills line up currently with your resume. Yeah, you go the distance with Truax. That's your level. Yeah, you are a 50-50 fighter with average dudes. That's your level. Yeah, top level, you get swatted. Top level, you get turned into a prison wife with soft hands. If you don't like it, that's on you, because you had your opportunity. You could have gone in there Kawasaki style and just warmed him and got murked, but still, that would have showed us something. You didn't show nothing. You didn't really dig deep like that. You didn't really put volume out. You was happy getting touched, getting me too'd, no doubt. He says, I'll be champion of the world again. Yeah, what you mean to say is, if Alvarez moves on, you may be champion again. Yeah? Let's be real here. If Alvarez is there, as long as Alvarez is there, you ain't be no champion. That's a fact as well. Last thing, I've never been scared to go big or go home. Listen, let's get rid of this whole narrative as well. I'm getting kind of sick of this narrative. The narrative is that, I'm not scared to get stopped, and listen, that's your job. You got paid handsomely to do that. You don't get medals for that. Yeah? A man who works at UPS doesn't get medals for getting in a van and driving around. You don't get medals for going in a ring and having a $10 million fight. That's your job. What you do get medals for is doing things over and above. Like if you'd have gone in there in them last few rounds knowing you was losing and just start going wild and then got clipped, fair play. For example, Chisora versus Dillian White 2. That there, I give Chisora a lot of credit. He was getting robbed by the referee and he just went wild and got caught. That there is respect. That there's over and above. All you did in that fight, I'm afraid to say, you got in the van and you went to work at UPS. I didn't see nothing super deep. I didn't see no real, oh, I'm going to lose. I must put it all on the line. You got violated in there. That's it. Yeah? So yeah, Sweet Pea, he stayed talking about himself. He stays with that arrogance. But listen, Alvarez, he prison wifed the arrogance out of you. And that's the truth. No doubt.